Hey everybody, how you going? Jason Andrew here, and in today's session, I'm really looking forward to it because I'm going to challenge the way that you may be currently thinking about money and the way that this may be manifesting itself in not turning up in your life. Because you see, a lot of us have a certain view on money that is actually deep down, it's deeply rooted, where a lot of people believe and think that money is unattractive. In fact, go to the point to think that money is the root of all evil. Now, if you're like me, I was brought up very religious. I went to a religious primary school, and my background being Samoan, a very religious community. And part of religion is there's to be meek and humble, and to not show off, and also to believe that money is inherently an evil thing. In fact, when you go back into the Bible, when Jesus got angry at the Jewish bankers because they were charging interest. And in fact, when you go deep down into the laws in the Bible, charging interest is actually a sin. So that is deeply ingrained in our society, that thinking. When you think about it, people are really angry at people that have wealth. They're angry at businesses because they think that they're just profit-hungry merchants and that everybody's out to get them. So what I'm here to do is just challenge that and to tell you that that is not right. That is actually 100% incorrect, because if that was the case, then we would be living in absolute dire straits and poverty, because because there's a lot of people out there with money, and they're still able to live well and able to give back. So I'm going to encourage you to think in a certain way, because if you think about it, you just need to understand that money is a part of our life, and it's ingrained in our system. It's just how our society is. And you just need to grasp that concept. I mean, no one was queuing up to try and break into the Soviet Union when it was around. No, the boats aren't queuing up to go up away from places like Australia. So the fact that people are attracted to a system that has money at its center because it encourages growth and expansion is a really positive thing, and I want you to encourage that. So there's two books you need to get. The first one is Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. This was the book that was featured in the movie The Secret that was around about 14 years ago, that was popularized. Now, that was a good movie, but what it didn't get into was into the how as much. So, but this book is used by people like Bob Proctor, Tony Robbins, and it's actually been at the core of a lot of wealth. In here, he says that each of us has a right to life. This means the right to have the free and unrestricted use of all the things that may be necessary to our fullest mental, spiritual, and physical unfolding. In other words, our right to be rich or wealthy. So it's a bit uncomfortable, but you know what? You need to get out of your comfort zone, because right now your comfort zone is why you are where you are right now. And this book here, written over 100 years ago, is a really great way to help you do that, because it does it in a way that sort of embraces understanding of your current thinking. Now, the other one to get hold of is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, which is an absolute classic. Napoleon Hill, this was written over 100 years ago, is about 1930, but started in about 1908. Napoleon Hill was commissioned to write this book by Dale Carnegie, one of the richest men in the world back then, to go out and to interview the most financially successful people in the world at that time, people like Henry Ford, like Morgan Stanley, to understand how they became to be successful. And what Napoleon Hill writes in here is really distinct, and it's all part of a process, and mindset and thinking is a very big part of it. So he says here that if you are one of those who believe that hard work and honesty alone will bring riches, perish the thought. It is not true. Riches, when they come in huge quantities, are never the result of hard work. Riches come, if they come at all, in response to definite demands based upon the application of definite principles, and not by chance or luck. So what he's saying here is that if you do things in a certain way, which includes thinking in a certain way, then the money and wealth will open up to you, and you will be able to start living the life that you want and start having the cash flow that you want. Now, I know that this might be hard for some people to listen to, because we are being bombarded, especially right now, about all this negativity, and there's this massive feeling of lack, and people think that the world's going to win because we're running out of resources. But I'm here to tell you that I'm going to encourage you to replace this your mindset of money is evil with there is abundance. Now if you look around, there are so many positive things happening in the world right now. There's so many. I read an article the other day where there's research going on where they may be able to build a supercomputer in 10 years' time that can upload our consciousness and our brain, so that when our physical body dies, they'll be able to download that into another body, and effectively your mind lives forever. Now, this is not science fiction. This is something I read in a science magazine. But you're not going to hear about this now because it's also bombarded by all this negativity crap. So I'll just give you another really simple example on on abundance. So look, if you think about your shopping every week, for example, so the amount of food that Australians buy, but think about at the end of each week how much you throw away. Now, Australians, according to foodwise.com.au, throw away about $8 billion worth of food every year. So that is a ridiculous amount of money. That's $22 million worth of food just thrown in the bin each year because of waste. Now, is this an abundance problem? No, it's not. It's a behavior problem. So there's enough food to feed. Imagine how many villages in Africa you could feed with that. I mean, imagine how much we could change the face of poverty in Australia just by that one simple thing alone. Now, in Australia, 3.24 million Australians live below the poverty line. This is the latest research in 2020, and that means they're earning less than $457 a week. So that $8 billion divided by 3.24 million, that's $2,500 that we could be spending by helping out people who are living below the poverty line, $2,500 each. So it may not sound like a lot to some of you, but for some people, that's a massive difference. It could be life-changing. So I'm just going to leave you with that because the time is hitting up on the 7-minute mark, and I just wanted to make this short and sharp. I just want you to challenge yourself. Sitting in your comfort zone, that's giving you the results where you are now. Change the way that you think. The research is out there. I mean, there's books that were written over a century ago around this kind of thing that the gurus are using now in like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, to help people change their mindset and just change it from one of lack into one of abundance, because that's the only way that you're going to achieve a breakthrough. So the best thing that you could do, one of the things you can do right now, is to go into this website and download your free copy of the Cashflow Breakthrough, which is going to give you more ideas like this. And I do get into these concepts in more detail into other offers, but you've got to get into that book first so that you can understand and get on the same page and start changing your mindset and having that winner's mindset set with cash flow and money, just like a professional athlete does with what they do, with their outcomes they want. You can do the same thing with your money. So start embracing it, loving it, because it can give you a great life. Okay, to your happiness, guys, and I'll see you at the next one.